There's an old saying that there are only two guarantees in life, and one of them is taxes. Professor Darrell Jones provides insight on how he provides theory in the classroom for law students who can take its relevance into real-world application. Thank you so much for being here today. It's fantastic having you on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
What's the backstory? How did you become a tax expert?
I became a tax practitioner and scholar when I was in the military, as a matter of fact. I went right after law school. I went into the JAG Corps. I'm old enough that I was practicing in the Army before the real onset of computers and computer filing, and it was just starting, electronic tax filing, and I got volunteered to run the tax office at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where we ran the electronic tax filing service, but we also provided tax advice, tax information to soldiers and family members and retirees. So that's how I really got into it. And then after I got out of the military, this was right after the first Gulf War, I came back to Florida and got my advanced tax degree, my LLM in tax. And that's how the rest is history.
Wow. Well, we're glad you're in this space because, as you know, this is a topic that so many people get tripped over. And for the people who only think about taxes once a year, you would say probably that we should be thinking about this more often, like maybe every day.
No, not really. I mean, I understand the point of your question. I mean, taxes, the tax law, the federal tax law is probably the one set of laws altogether that affect every single person in the United States. I mean, there's not a whole lot of set of laws that affect each of us every single day. And it is true that, you know, everything we do from birth to going to school, getting married, having children, getting a job, starting a business, and even dying is affected by the tax law. So tax laws affect us from cradle to grave. But, you know, the Congress and the IRS want us to go about our lives without really thinking about taxes every day. I mean, that's called tax neutrality. I mean, the tax code is written so that it's designed not to interfere with everyday business, or we're not supposed to get married so that we have a tax break. It's not supposed to, the tax tail is not supposed to wag the dog life. We're supposed to live our lives almost oblivious to taxes, and the taxes are just imposed each year so that we each contribute to the cost of living in society, but we're not supposed to sort of regulate our lives according to the tax code.
That's nice, but I do have people that I know who specifically are buying large purchases at the end of the year and doing certain things just for the tax benefits. And so the federal policies, the ones, what would you say that we should be looking out for?
You know, that's a good question. Right now, it's very much on a global basis that, I mean, there are lots of reasons why we have a tax code. The first reason is to raise the money we need to pay our police officers and build roads and bridges and so forth. But tax law is also crucial in influencing social policy and social behavior. So universities that are still practicing DEI, businesses that are still sensitive to the need to have a diverse workforce that serves a diverse society are being attacked by the current administration, primarily through the tax code. So the president wants to impose more taxes on universities.
Right.
He wants to raise tax costs on businesses that practice DEI. And I think we're in a rare time where the tax code has much more relevance to broader social issues much more than just raising the money that we need to pay for our society.
And so that's on the social side, and for small business owners, what would you say is something that is misunderstood or something that business owners should be aware of?
Well, you know, the tax code it might surprise you. The tax code is designed to make going into business easier rather than harder. I mean, we all have to pay taxes,
Right.
but the tax rules pertaining to small businesses especially are, even though they're burdensome, you have to have somebody in your corner telling you what the tax rules are. But that's primarily just to report and pay your taxes, not necessarily to dictate how you conduct business, right? And so the tax code is actually very friendly towards people who want to start businesses. In fact, being a business person is probably less tax burdensome than being an employee, right? We don't get very many tax breaks as employees. True. But if you start your own business, the tax code sort of cheers you on and gives you many more breaks. Now that's a source of controversy because, it's typically the wealthier folk who can start and maintain businesses and they're getting all the breaks.
Yeah.
The people who advocate that status quo will say, well, we want them to start business because they'll end up hiring more people and that'll be good for everybody.
Right.
So the one lesson about how taxes affect business is that taxes are very business friendly, very much more than worker friendly.
Mm-hmm. Well, your students are fortunate to have you making these issues, making it plain. Right. And we appreciate you taking time to share with us today.
I'm happy to do it. I could talk about tax all night. I might bore you to death, but I could talk about it.
But I would love to hear more. We want to thank Professor Jones again for helping break down important tax information in a way that truly empowers. His insight reminds us that understanding our financial responsibilities does not have to be overwhelming. It starts with having the right information and trusted guidance.